Well, hello, creatives, community, and kind folks out there. I am DBJ, and this is RPG with DBJ. I am your host, and today is a special day. It is Cyber Monday, and why not have something special for us for Cyber Monday? A page through of our newest release from Critical Hit Publishing called The Adventure Keys Archives Volume 1. Now, for those who are unfamiliar, we release an adventure on the D6th and D20th of each month. The D6th and the D20th, we release something called an adventure, the adventure keys. Of course, the keys are to unlock your imagination, unlock the adventure for your group. Now, each adventure key is about 3 or 4 pages long, and they are adventures. This archive collection comes in both the digital and print-on-demand format from DriveThru RPG, and combines 9 previously released adventure keys combined together with an additional adventure key that has not been released. So there are 10 altogether. So for this video, we are going to page through, and for those who can see, of course, you will be able to see the paging through. I am showing the digital format version of it. I should be getting my print version itself pretty soon. Currently, the prices for the digital format combined for our special price, not just for Cyber Monday, but continuing into the holiday season, is $2.50. You can get the print-on-demand version for $9.95, and if you want to get both the digital and print-on-demand version, you can get both for $10.95 in total. So for those who are listening, of course, I will be doing a speak over for this, but I really encourage you to take a look. Hopefully we will be able to get this video actually placed below the archive collection, so that when you tap the link for DriveThru RPG, it will take you directly to it, and you can see exactly what it is that I'm showing everyone. All right, so here's our first page. This is our logo for our general format for the adventure keys, like an old drift board and a set of gold keys hanging from a nail, and then an image depicting what it is about. And of course, we have our archive collection with old books. On our second page, we have our credits. Alex, myself, and Rob, and Alex known as Captain Gothnog, and Rob known as the Swamper, and myself commonly known as DBJ. And we have our table of contents, each of the adventures. Now, in each of these adventures, there's the Bridge of Death, the Forgotten Barrow, the Ghost Stones, the Old Mill, the Shrine to Azathoth, the Soaring Spire, the Sunken Jungle, the Tourney, the Twisted Stairs, and the Two Brothers. And each of these has been released. The Bridge of Death is our PWYW Pay What You Want, and the Twisted Stairs has not been released, so it is an additional adventure in this particular document. Now, here, let's expand the size of this. On this page, and now mind you, of course, with each individual adventure key that's been reprinted, but in this book, of course, we only need to print it once. It is how to use this book. Now, in each portion of this, in each adventure, there are 6 sections: location, hooks and goals, characters, trappings, threats, and changes. And of course, listed on this document, all but the first have multiple options each. Since the DM isn't limited to using only one option, the variations available are quite numerous. Sections can be used or ignored at the DM's discretion, or even modified based on the situation or to scale its challenge rating. So, for example, under hooks and goals, characters, trappings, threats, and changes, there are at least 3 options for each, so that each adventure can be modified or changed at a whim. So you can play through these adventures and then use each option, or combine options, or delete options as you see fit to make this usable multiple times. The options are deliberately non-specific for ease of use. The DM can include them as they are, combine them, or use them for inspiration to create entirely new options. And these adventures are created, especially concerning the locations, are created as non-specific as possible so that you can easily insert them into your game world or add them in for it. Maybe as a DM you're stuck for, man, I don't have any idea what I'm going to do tonight. I really want to have the players go on this adventure, but 2 of my players can't make it. I've got 6 of them sitting here. What am I going to do? You can pull one of these out. Generally, they are a one encounter adventure. Although under the changes section, we leave it open to allow this to become, more of a multi-session campaign, possibly 2, 3, 5 other sessions, and may open doors for other things. So under the location section, sorry, tried to page down here. All right, under location, this section will give an overall description of the location and its immediate surroundings. Parts of this are left deliberately vague so it can be inserted into a setting more seamlessly. This may also include notes regarding some of the other sections, a brief history, and or suggestions for adapting it to various environs. And of course, we have hooks and goals. The 2 may not be readily the same. For example, under hooks and goals, while hooks and goals may seem like the same thing, there are some slight differences. Hooks are essentially intended to get the characters hooked into a new plot or adventure, while goals describe why the PCs have come to this particular location. An example would be, a hook might be the players hear about their a relative being ill. Now, when they arrive there, that may not be the case, right? That's the hook to get them to arrive. A goal may be specifically related to that location, right? They've heard of a mysterious ghost sightings, and they arrive, and then maybe there really is a ghost. So while similar, they may not be exactly the same, and a hook may actually have nothing to do with what's going on at the location. It's just a way to draw those particular characters into that adventure, especially if they come from wildly different backgrounds. It's also possible that the reason for coming to the location is that it has something that the PCs need. This could be an object, information, or perhaps it offers some strategic advantage. The DM should be able to easily insert their own hooks and goals or modify the available options as needed, i.e. A MacGuffin. Also, we have characters. The character options in this section are relatively benign in nature. They are intended to add flavor or interest to the location, impart information to the player characters, or provide an opportunity for role play, i.e. you absolutely get at least 3 NPCs. These characters can be neutrally aligned, intelligent beings, or other noteworthy creatures. Though they may start off as neutral or friendly, the PC's actions can change that if they treat them poorly or make any hostile moves against them. Note that while each of these adventures gives you NPCs, so essentially we have 10 adventures, you have 30 NPCs you can throw into your game at a whim. Not all of the NPCs are necessarily human beings or mortal beings. They could be a restless spirit. It may be a lost animal, an animal stuck in a trap that if you release it, it might become friendly towards you, either in this particular adventure or later on in the game's other game sessions. So characters are basically individuals that are, and they are relatively benign, right? They're not there for combat purposes, but for role playing and essentially imparting information and drawing out the inner workings of the PCs in terms of their thoughts and goals. We also have trappings. This includes options for other things that the PCs might find at this location. These things could be significant, minor, or simply a curiosity. Trappings can help flesh out a world by making it feel more lived in, provide resources, impart clues to the PCs, foreshadow future events, or even provide a cache of minor loot if the DM is feeling particularly generous. And those trappings are could be anything from a discarded backpack to weather events, or a hidden location or something of that nature. And we've even thrown in like random tables. Some of those trappings could be things that affect the environment and such. So one of my specialties. So and the last two things are threats and changes. Under threats, these include monsters, enemies, traps, natural hazards, and so on. These may be specific, but should be adjustable enough to challenge almost any party of adventurers. For example, if the option says there are 6 bugbears, but it doesn't seem like enough, then make it 12. If the trap is too easy to find, increase the difficulty class. Whenever possible, a stat block will be provided for non-player characters and monsters, but occasionally the option may reference a core book. In these later cases, the book and page number will be provided, especially if it is a common enough creature. We won't provide the stat block for it, but if we've modified the creature quite a bit, then yes, we will provide a stat block and the appropriate abilities thereof. So lastly, how to use this. Under the how to use this section, we have changes, and here we go. Let's page down a little bit. In order to shake things up, sometimes literally, the DM can use these options to add a bit of extra excitement to the location. These will include all manner of changing conditions, from weather events to a change in the location itself. For example, a dilapidated stone structure might be destabilized by the PC's actions, causing a crumbling wall to drop on them. Changes could also include outside events, such as 2 groups choosing that moment to start fighting over that location, caring little for anyone caught in the middle. So changes can include things from an approaching army, maybe the weather. There's floodwaters that may make it difficult to navigate the location. There could be some kind of political upheaval, things like that. And so those changes may include story seeds to extend what would essentially be a one-shot into a further encounter. So so we've gotten past that part. So let's go on down. Let's move ourselves on down to later on in this document. So we have the Bridge of Death, and this is our original release. And the Bridge of Death, essentially we pick a location and we shape everything around it. So here we go. This narrow bridge crosses a deep ravine that extends for more than a mile in each direction. The rope is fashioned from heavy, twisted fibers and coarse animal hair. Rough-hewn planks of dark, oiled wood form the walkway suspended between the 2 lower ropes, while the upper ropes act as handholds. Each end is anchored to sturdy 6-foot-tall posts that have been driven deep into the ground, with several support ropes radiating out from each post. Even a cursory glance will reveal that the bridge is extremely old, but despite its age, is very solid. It is approximately 300 feet from one side to the other and about 6 feet wide. And that's basically the gist of this, right? It is the bridge. We have the stats on the bridge, what happens if someone were to cut a rope, transversing the bridge, how safe it is to cross the bridge, and then a number of goals, hooks and goals, such as defend. The characters have been hired or ordered to defend the bridge, or becoming a messenger. As the character is approaching the bridge, someone is running across from the other side, and et cetera, et cetera. Now, as we said before, we do have NPCs and characters. We have Besso, a tiefling male. We have Tim the Enchanter. And we also have a tired traveler here on the Bridge of Death. And then we have some trappings. We have like a toll box, a small wooden toll box, written on it the words "one crossing, one piece of silver," and some details related to that. We have a dropped pouch, and we now have a random table, pile of stuff. It says, although the bridge is safe, there are many travelers who simply don't want to take a chance, so they end up leaving the less needed and heavy items behind in a pile near the bridge. It contains everything from foodstuff to bedrolls. The DM can give characters a chance to find something useful with an investigation check using the chart below. And there are many things in here, one of which is pretty hilarious, like there's a heavy chest containing 20 bars of steel, each weighing 12 pounds, for a total of 240 pounds, all those kind of things. And So you can have some fun with the PCs considering taking some of the stuff across this relatively rough-hewn bridge. We also have a winged troll as a threat, possible threat. All right, let's flip down here. We also have bandits as a possible threat. And we have a bear. Now, if you consider all these things, it doesn't necessarily mean you have a bear, bandits, and a winged troll in this location. But let's say the PCs cross 3 rope bridges. You can use one of those threats at each time, or you can combine them together. For example, maybe the bear is being hunted by the bandits, and the bear is hesitant to cross the bridge, or maybe the winged troll is attacking bandits on the bridge and the PCs come along, or maybe the PCs are accosted by the bandits while they're on the bridge, and suddenly the winged troll comes out of its haven below the bridge, and et cetera, et cetera. And then here we have changes such as precipitation, high winds, and loose boards. Of course, you can use any, all, or none of them as you see fit. So let's pop one down. We have the Forgotten Barrow, and here the Forgotten Barrow looks like the entrance to some ancient crypt, which it is. In the middle of a wide expanse of flat grassland, a lone barrow of earth and stone sits like a blister on the landscape. Even at a distance, a faint malevolence can be felt. Horses, pets, and other animals will be uneasy within a half a mile of it, and at night, eerie ghost lights can sometimes be seen atop the unnatural hill. And so, of course, this location has many things. We have details about the interior of it, the individuals you may meet, such as an archaeologist or a grave robber, maybe an artist. We have hooks and goals, such as strange lights that may draw the PCs towards this location. We have trappings, and under trappings there might be items such as a magic item known as Blood Path, and items such as a sarcophagus in here, or maybe even having a psychic assault. There are threats such as a life trap, the death collectors, etc., and other creatures such as the cursed cannibals or barrow zombies that may be living in and around, or possibly even released from the PC's interactions with the Forgotten Barrow. And then we have the Barrow zombie horde that might be on a release. And then, of course, we ended with changes such as Unexpected Journey and the Quiet Dead, and a shift in alignment. Not alignment like PC alignment, but alignment of celestial alignment of the stars and the moon. And we have a little map here, which is available for some of the items in released in the adventure keys. So here we have ghost stones, and of course we have the driftwood title and image. Looks like Stonehenge, possibly. And then we have the ghost stones, and of course here, if you're watching this, we have like the hooks and goals such as a rendezvous, research, sacred land as a possible hook or goal. We have characters available such as the penitent man, the dung merchant, the stone druid, as well as trappings and threats of a ghost here, trappings such as offerings. For example, just kidding. The bottom of the well is covered with many centuries of offerings. Most of them are in the form of copper pieces, but an occasional silver or even gold piece can be found with some searching. We have symbols that are available, and a knight. A heavily armored skeleton is poised on one knee with her head bowed. Her hands are resting on the pommel of a longsword that is thrust into the ground before her. She faces the central stone with the opposite side of the well, as if she had been in prayer when she died. The rusting plates of her armor have fused together, leaving the corpse as a kind of gruesome statue. Grass and small vines have filled the armor, and it sounds as if there might be a family of mice living inside the breastplate. There are still enough legible markings sufficient to identify her as a knight. So those are things available, and then there are some notes there, and you can make them as mundane or as mysterious or threatening as you wish. There's the well hag, lunar revelations, solar alignment, wailing wind, that are changes that you can apply to it. And of course, here's an aerial footage of the stones and the well that exists inside of the ghost stones setting. Here we have the old mill, and a picture of the old mill with the stream running next to it, and the mill wheel that runs pushed by the power of the stream. Here's the old mill. About a half mile off a less traveled road sits an old mill. The style is typical for the region, though it looks as if it has been unused for more than 50 years. Even the old brook that used to turn the large mill wheel has mostly dried up, and this may have been what caused it to be abandoned. And of course, there are further details in here, characters such as a fisherman, a revenant, maybe a runaway the PCs may encounter. There are hooks and goals such as finding a lodging, restoration project, or even a safe house. And there are trappings in and around the mill, such as salt or grease. It's also possibly could be a very cramped space. There's a forgotten child, a dire badger that may be living inside of the location, fungal zombie, and shadow fae that have something to do with a story that may link why they are here and why the old mill may have been abandoned for at least 50 years ago. Dusk fairy. And then there are changes such as a flash flood, unstable machinery, and the broken water wheel. And of course, we have here an image here of the old mill seen from above with the mill wheel on the side and the bits and pieces that are used that turn the mill that grind the dried wheat, possibly, or corn or maize or something of that nature. We have the shrine of Azathoth. Nasty, the shrine. Of course, whenever you have a shrine to someplace, there's a shrine of Azathoth, you have to have a cultist. So we have here hooks for like cultist exploration, maybe hiding spots or prey. Could be a roadhouse or finding shelter. There are characters such as an archaeologist, fanatics, maybe a treasure hunter. There are threats such as the dark young, a gibbering mouther or gibbering, maybe a slightly modified, decayed chest, a journal. Maybe this creature was summoned, or maybe people prayed to it. Who knows? There are natural defenders, a secret door trap. There's some changes such as a cursed land, tremors, or maybe the great summons. And of course, we have a map of the shrine. And as again, all of these can be just something that people find along the way, maybe to fill out your setting. You want the PCs to find something, but you don't want them to be completely distracted. So we have those here. We have the soaring spire, absolute huge spire up into the ground, up into the air. The soaring spire. This tower is quite tall, reaching over 500 feet in height. It's old, at least a few centuries, though others claim it was built 1,000 years earlier. Whenever it was erected, it's clear that its construction took a long time. Comprised of countless pale gray bricks, most of the tower is unremarkable save for a few features. It has no visible door or windows, and though faded paintings at the base might have helped solve the puzzle of its origins, graffiti and weathering has long obscured any such clues. Today, the answer to that mystery depends on the person asked. Claims have been made that its construction was ordered by wizards for some mysterious arcane experiments, while others suggest purposes of a more divine or sinister nature. So we have characters such as Feldon, or Horatio Grand, or Vinopa Yanagil. We have such goals such as conducting a ritual, or maybe even eavesdropping. Trappings, including things such as abandoned mines or statues, or maybe even a watchtower. And then we have threats such as a bound devil, sentinels such as Aarakocra guards, will-o-wisps, possibly, and then changes such as a chaos storm, alarms, or gathered armies. And then we go on to the sunken jungle. We have an image here underneath the driftwood. We have an image here of a ship floating in the water with these huge, monstrous trees. And the sunken jungle, in the middle of the ocean, far from any land, lies an area known as the sunken jungle. From a distance, this region appears to be a low, forested island, but it quickly becomes clear that it is something entirely unique. This area is overgrown with a bizarre grove of trees that grow out of the seafloor 350 feet below. At the surface of the water, the trees bulge slightly before reaching up to a dense, intertwined canopy 100 feet overhead. Called halfwood by sailors, these trees are between 3 and 6 feet in diameter, with the tip will bulge nearly doubling that. The The bark below the surface is dark green with intricate spiral patterns, while the bark above the surface is a lighter olive color with a wavy pattern. And then we have characters such as Leafwind, Rootfellow, the Treant, Mutineer maybe, Shark Hunters. Goals could be a lost love, pirates, finding spider silk, trappings such as finding a dinghy, the MS McAllister, Orba fruit, threats such as Noble House Darkly. We have threats. What is this? The cursed father Naga, and the cursed son Manticore. Things like that. The cursed daughter Harpy. We have changes such as the naval missionaries, leaping spiders, pack sharks, oil slick ignition, storms. So none of these need to be completely combined together as one. As I said before, each adventure key allows you options to pick and choose what you'd like, so that it's possible that you can use them over and over again, maybe in the same location if the PCs return, or you can place them in different locations in your world. We also have the tourney, something a little bit different from the usual adventure. Here we have the knights competing in a tournament for the princesses and the duchesses and the baronesses. The tourney, the tournament of wood, stone, and iron, commonly called the tourney, will require great skill, teamwork, and creativity to be victorious. This annual tournament brings competitors and spectators from across the realm. Recently, however, the tests of skill, the performances, and those who judge them have become jaded. The tourney now includes many practitioners of the arcane arts, monstrous beasts, and humanoids from distant lands. While this has given the tourney an added flair of mysticism and spectacle, it has also brought with it corruption, crime, and violence that is at odds with its original intent. Cheating, espionage, bribery, distractions, and slander are hazards the officials and judges try to mitigate, but many of them are themselves targets of the same tomfoolery. While circumventing the rules is a disqualifying act, it must be proven to the official before anything can be done. All threats and acts of violence will immediately disqualify the offender. More severe punishments include shunning, exile, imprisonment, or even death if the participant is exceedingly brutal or sadistic. And of course, we have rules for engaging in the tourney. We have hooks and goals such as childhood dreams, duty and honor, impress the judges. We have characters such as Benny Quickhand, Haldog the Horned. He is a minotaur who leads a cadre of humanoids from the Malfist Crags. We have Lady Raldith, a top competitor, a knight and defender of the realm. Her half-elven heritage cannot hide her age. Her hair has gone silver, and her hair shows signs of middle age. She is quite fit, but she has begun to use her entourage in acts of sabotage to ensure she remains in the top echelon. And so we go on and on with those. Trappings, such as hit the target. A number of targets are set up to be hit by melee and ranged attacks from weapons and or spells. We have Rider's Path. The competitors mount an animal and navigate obstacles. Animal handling is needed to maneuver around the wooden, stone, and iron barriers. And then we have Stack the Blocks. Wooden, stone, and iron blocks of complex geometric shapes must be stacked and locked together. This requires an investigation skill check to figure out how to connect the three blocks, a strength check to lift each piece, and a sleight of hand skill check to move into place properly. The wooden pieces are easier, stone shapes difficult, and iron chunks a struggle. The teams are encouraged to work together. Time and accuracy are judged. The shortest number of rounds wins. Just count the number of rolls needed to complete the cube. Ties are split by adding together all modified die rolls. Highest total is ahead. Some tourneys have 6 or even 9 geometric shapes. And so this is just an example of having a tournament without necessarily having to have combat related things, without it be turning into a live or die situation. We have assassins, cheaters, an abyssal centipede summoned for maybe an arena type encounter. We have changes such as the arcane arena, gladiators clash, and violence, of course. And then we have ourselves the abyssal centipede summoned, and the hitherto unreleased release, the Twisted Stairs, only available in this adventure key archive. The Twisted Stairs. In a nondescript stone wall, a plain iron door has been closed as far back as people can remember. In fact, few people seem to remember or even notice the door. If asked about it, the locals will usually just shrug and almost immediately lose interest. Any investigation into the door will reveal that it does not appear on any map or plan related to the location. The door has no keyhole, latch, or pull ring, and its weathered surface is faintly warm to the touch. Some even say it's not a door at all. If anyone uses Detect Magic on the door, it will radiate a barely perceptible arcane aura that is associated with no specific school of magic. And so we have things such as hooks and goals. We have, of course, details about the Twisted Stair. We have hooks and goals such as a coded message, lore, maybe missing persons. PCs may have to find someone or ask to find someone. Characters such as Blue, Old Keat, and Sergeant Kernwall. We have trappings and threats. Threat of a black pudding, trappings such as black cloth, explorers, so on and so forth. The fallen druid, the ice druid's skull, Drageth the frozen. So there are any number of things that can be used for the Twisted Stair. Infernal guardians, furnace, spontaneous combustion. There are some options here. Trap, the entrance to the room, stairs descend over 1,000 feet, etc., etc. Bottom. And we end here with the two brothers. Here's with stone effigies, their faces carved into the stone. The two brothers, a monument to two dwarven heroes, greet those who venture through a mountain pass known as the Two Brothers. Few remember the names of the legendary brothers who called this valley home. So long ago are the stories of their battles that even the long memories of the dwarves cannot recall their names. Yet the brothers' legacy lives on to this day. No one has ever taken credit for the enormous bas-relief effigies that honor these stout heroes, but the faces gaze down on all those who have made the trek. The two brothers battled each other as much as they did enemies of the dwarven hold. To this day, the local tribes of hill giants, wild elves, fae, and halflings still tell tales of the two brothers. Some travel this rocky valley just to walk in the shoes of great dwarven defenders. Others want to commune with legends, and a few want to test themselves and their brotherhood against the pinnacle of camaraderie and brotherly conflict. The two brothers pass is the shortest distance between two trading posts. Only during a 3-month period, when the winter snow prevents all travel, is the trade route empty of merchants, hunters, and excavators. The pass has many dangers, rock slides and mudslides being the most common. The distance around the pass taxes the resources and time of the local population, who cannot afford the fees of the River Guild or the additional weeks away from family and business to make the circuitous route. And so we have a bunch of details such as individuals like Althean Valhue, Tavis Gorn. We have hooks and goals such as reopen the pass, hold the pass, or last rites. Trappings, of course, the two brothers themselves, if possible, you want them to appear. We have Finian Pask as a character someone may encounter. Stone giants, a stranded wagon, an item that someone may find. The brothers' tears, the living mountain, Simoldon, a prehistoric saber-tooth, huge saber-tooth tiger in many ways, larger than the classic saber-tooth tiger. Of course, we have crevice buried in dirt, crushed by boulders. Changes such as a big hoax, flooded, fireflies, etc. So we have our legal information. So this brings us to the end. This brings us, of course, all the legal information required to produce anything for 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons in the Story of Morrigan. Okay, so this brings us to the end of Adventure Keys Archives Volume 1. I want to thank everyone for listening and or watching this page through. So all of you out there, community, kind folks, and creatives, thank you for just basically being a fan of Critical Hit Publishing and myself, RPG with DBJ and my channel. I am Davaberian Jackson. Thank you very much. Any details that you'd like to find out is listed in the doobly-doo below the video. Critical Hit Publishing, join us on Facebook, join a Discord group. Of course, watch any of the videos, like, share, subscribe, ring that bell to be notified for new videos and such. And as always, thank you very much. And everyone out there, have an excellent, excellent, excellent day.